Prediction markets. They are everywhere right now. Over $50 billion in trading volume this June alone across platforms like Kalshi and Polymarket. They give you the ability to trade the outcome of major real-world events across sports, crypto, politics, and a load of other stuff. But the truth is, all of those platforms have one massive problem. They are not the sponsor of today's video. But you know who is? That's right, ladies and gents, Outpoll. Jokes aside, everyone, Outpoll is a brand new player in the prediction market game. They've got professional trading tools like take profit and stop loss, limit orders, creator-led markets, public API access, and a native mobile-first Android experience. We are going to get into all of that today and give you a full review of the Outpoll platform. As always, if you like what you see and you do want to check out Outpoll, the link will be in the description or the pinned comment down below. Alright then, here we are on Outpoll. As you can see, front page here we have a lot of different markets. Pretty simple layout, very similar to Kalshi and Polymarket. Some major events you can see up at the top here. Recent news events over on the right hand side here. And all the other markets are down here. You can also go into specific categories if you like. For example, this World Cup one, pretty relevant right now. Will Lionel Messi become the all-time leading scorer in FIFA World Cup history? Who knows, but there's a market on it. Now you might notice at the moment all of these obviously have pretty low volume on them. Once again, this is a brand new platform, so I'd imagine over the next few months you're going to see a lot more volume on here. Anyway, to get started, first of all you're going to need to make a deposit. Of course, if you haven't already signed up yet, go ahead and do that with the link down below. Once you've done that, you're going to want to click deposit up in the top right here. Now for trading on the platform, the currency they use is USDC, but what you can do is deposit any of these currencies listed in here, and once you do that you'll be able to convert it directly on the platform here. For example, you deposit Bitcoin, not a problem, convert to USDC, and jobs are good in. Once you do indeed have all of that sorted, we'll want to go and find ourselves a market to trade. There are plenty to choose from here. Again, you can go through all of these different categories. Politics, you want some politics. Trade the macro economy. Will there be a US recession by the end of 2026? If you think so, there's a market for it. Anyway, since the World Cup is on at the moment, we're going to be topical and go ahead and choose this. Alright, as you can see, we've got all of these different options here. Now I'm going to be so honest with you all, I have absolutely no idea about football, but word on the street is that France are currently the favourites to win this here World Cup. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and buy some Yes shares on France. Now, one advantage of this being a new platform with very little volume is we're actually getting a lower price on our Yes shares than we would on a lot of the other platforms. As you can see, Yes shares are currently going for 18 cents on Outpoll. Yes shares on France are currently going for 38.6 cents on Polymarket. So we're actually going to get a much better price if we trade it on Outpoll. Now, there are two different types of order that we can choose, either market or limit orders. A market order will buy these shares right now at the current market price, which is 18 cents. But say, for example, you only wanted to buy if the share price dips to 16 cents. You could go over here and set up a limit order, put in 16 cents as your limit price, then the number of shares that you want to buy at that price. For example, you want to buy 10 shares at 16 cents each, you're going to put that in there. Also, if you want, you can set an expiration time for this order. So if it doesn't fill within a certain amount of time, then it's going to cancel the order. For now though, we're just going to do a market order. So all we need to do for this is put in the dollar amount that we want to buy. We'll just do $5 here for an example. Now you can see below here the potential payout if France does indeed win the World Cup. This market resolves at yes, and our position would settle for $27.53. So let's go ahead and hit buy on these shares. As you can see, we're buying shares at an estimated 18.2 cents per share, and for that price we're getting 27.53 shares, and our P&L, assuming this market resolves at yes, is going to be plus $22.53. So let's click confirm on that. There we go. Fireworks, now we are in this trade. So now we can either wait for this market to resolve, or if more people come in and start buying yes shares, we could then sell our yes shares at any time at whatever the current market price is. Now you could choose to sell some of the shares, or you could just hit max and sell, and that will close out the entire position. Or another thing you can do, if you go into your profile, go to wallet and head over to deals on the left here. This is going to show you your current positions, and you'll see over here in the middle you have the option to add a take profit or stop loss. Enter the amount of shares. If you want to do all the shares, just hit max. Now say for example we want to take profit at 40 cents per share. We would just put 40 in here. Or maybe we want to sell our yes shares if the price goes below 12 cents for example. So you just put that in there. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about back in the market section here. Something you're going to start seeing on here soon is creator-led markets. Now, from what I understand, those are going to be markets led by ambassadors of Outpoll, probably KOLs and that sort of thing. And that's basically going to be a way for creators to interact with their audience around different topics that I guess are more specific to that creator and the topics that they talk about. Now, obviously, because the platform is brand new, they don't have any official ambassadors yet. But once they do, then you'll start seeing those creator-led markets appearing on here. Alright, another thing I want to cover, which is a big selling point of Outpoll, is the public API access. Now you can use that for things like automating your trading, creating trading bots, building custom analytics tools, and all that good stuff. Now, to be totally honest with you, I don't have the slightest clue about anything to do with APIs, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do. But luckily for you, the good folks at Outpoll have created this documentation, which I'll leave a link for in the description. If you're the kind of person who does know about this, then you can knock yourself out with that. Okay, another thing Outpoll has is a pretty decent news feed. You can find all the latest news on sport, AI, crypto, entertainment, finance, politics, really any kind of news, all curated nicely in here. And of course, when you are trading prediction markets, it's very important to keep up with the news. So you're going to be able to find whatever news is relevant to your market. Now, if we go on over to our portfolio quickly, you might notice this Outpoll token mentioned here. Now, this token isn't actually live yet, but from what I understand, it's going to be some sort of cashback mechanism where you'll get a certain amount of the platform fees back in Outpoll tokens. Now again, this isn't live yet, but if you keep an eye on their socials, you'll probably hear more about this soon. Now, the final thing I want to mention is the Outpoll app. Currently available on Google Play, but apparently it's also coming to iOS in the near future. Like I said in the intro, it's built from scratch specifically for mobile. It's not just adapted from the desktop site like a lot of other apps these days. It is a proper mobile first experience. Now, to be honest with you, I personally had some issues getting onto the app, so I'm not going to be able to show you it from my end today. But apparently there is a big update coming for it in the next week or so. So it's going to be completely different anyway, and I'm sure they'll have any issues fixed by then. Alrighty then folks, that is Outpoll. Overall thoughts are I like the UI, it feels pretty polished for a brand new platform. Obviously the volume is low on a lot of the markets right now, but again you would expect that on a brand new platform. I mean, I've never done it personally, but I'd imagine it's pretty hard to get one of these markets off the ground. It's going to take a big marketing push, again like we saw with Kalshi and Polymarket. They are absolutely everywhere, that's really the only way you can win as a prediction market. The more users, the better the experience is going to be, especially once they start onboarding ambassadors and get those creator-led markets up and running. I think there's a lot of potential with that. Also with the API access that I know absolutely nothing about, but it sounds good, so if you know about that, then you can probably take advantage of that and do some pretty cool things. Once again, if you do want to check it out, my referral link will be in the description or the pinned comment down below. For now though, I've been me, you've been you. Thanks for watching and see you later.